All right, I think we have a few more people joining us. It's time, but we can get started just to respect everyone's time and calendar. And thank you everyone for joining us today. Thanks for attending this webinar hosted by For Industry and ServiceNow on why the connected worker was key to Danone's digital manufacturing acceleration program. Today's speakers are going to be Adam Aguzzi, joining us from ServiceNow as the global go-to-market strategy leader, and Ozgur Mutlu, joining us from Danone as global digital manufacturing manager. And I will be your host for today, Cristina Ponce. I am For Industry's partner manager on the ServiceNow side as well. Just on housekeeping, you will be on mute for the duration of this session. We will have a bit of time at the end for Q&A. Please don't be shy. We want to hear all your questions. We expect this session to last around 45 minutes, give or take. And this session is being recorded, so you will receive a link to the recording after this session as well. And if you stick with us until the end, we will share a link to a very interesting asset on overall equipment effectiveness. So please stick with us and you will get this link. And with that, I hand it over to our first speaker, Adam.
Unmute myself. Hi, thank you, everyone. To start us off, I just wanted to give you an overview of the ServiceNow platform that we base everything else that we're going to talk about on. We break our platform down into several business units. Customer workflows, basically facing the customer, whether it's an intermediate like a distribution company or the end consumer. Industry workflows, where we really take some of our general workflows for IT and HR and customers, and we make it very specific for each industry that we target, including manufacturing. Manufacturing is actually one of our biggest industries that we're focusing on. Employee workflows is basically HR and workplace management, as well as anything that supports the employee experience, such as legal services, finance, payroll for those employees. And it's a horizontal category, and we take it and we bring it back to the industry's workflows, and we make it very specific for each industry. Finance and supply chain workflows is actually one of our newest ones. Building on the power of an ERP system of record, we simplify the supply chain process, and we think about how can we build on, let's say, SAP and other supply chain platforms and ERP systems to make them more efficient. And then technology workflows, which is essentially what we've been known for the last 12 years or so, which is when you have an issue with your hardware, whether it's a tablet or something much more sophisticated in a server room, how do I put in the ticket? How do I track it? So you can see we've moved beyond the IT workflows, and now it's actually just one of 5 main categories of what we focus on: the customer, the employee, making it work for the factory, making it work for retail, making it work for any industry, and making sure that that supply chain and technology supports the industry. And ultimately, under each one of those is what we call creator workflows, which is the ability to have citizen developers and corporate developers that are not ServiceNow, allowing everyone to have access to App Engine or other tools that allow you to make your own applications that work great. You can fill in your own gaps, build your own products for your organization. And all of this works under one platform. So it's one system of action that allows you to connect everything together, one portal, one interface, one system to maintain, while still being able to update the workflows as needed, still pulling on AI and machine learning for the entire platform as one installation. And down below, you'll see just a sample of the companies that we integrate with, whether it be Adobe, SAP, AWS, Oracle, Infor. These are systems that usually act as a system of record. They hold the data. They're very good at some calculations and holding the data for us, but they're not necessarily the best at building out the workflow, making it user-friendly, making it one screen or a couple of forms rather than having to jump between applications and complicated commands. We integrate with all of those and we bring them into one user experience. We can move on to the next slide. In the case of For Industry and our manufacturing connected workforce solutions, this is part of our focus in manufacturing, as well as several of our other industries like energy and utilities, where we see that there's a need to maintain the assets on a factory floor while improving the experience that employees have with all the workflows having to do with operating those assets, maintaining the assets, reporting health and safety issues, reporting quality issues, all digitally. Right now, a lot of what is done on a factory floor is manual, paper-based processes with a lot of walking around and communication that just can't be audited. You don't know what the efficiency of the facility was. You don't know if people have been following their tasks. You don't know what data is being collected in a lot of facilities, regardless if it's an international player in the food market like Danone versus a small mom and pop shop making a couple of products. There needs to be a way to enable the factory worker to really have access to all the tools they need on a tablet, on a mobile device, on the factory floor that's connected with their coworkers and the organization in general. So with For Industry, we've built out manufacturing connected workforce solutions, which allow the employee to really be able to access the checklist, the data they need to operate a machine, and still connect with the maintenance department. Let them know a machine is down and needs improvement and needs fixing, that quality is off, and then we need to get the quality department on the factory floor to take a look before we make too much scrap. And all while recording any health and safety issues, making sure that the organization is trained and kept up to speed. And just like the last slide, this all integrates into the greater platform. It's not an island upon itself. It works great with IT workflows, with HR workflows, with ultimately connected to the customer experience under one platform. Next slide, please. And the great thing about For Industry and ServiceNow is we've created this wonderful partnership starting off since 2018. The connected worker platform is built on ServiceNow. It uses ServiceNow technology. In fact, it's essential that it relies on ServiceNow because it keeps building on our client base while adding such a level of functionality that we haven't been able to produce ourselves. So much so that we recognized For Industry as one of our greatest partners this year at our Knowledge event in Las Vegas, where we named them one of the worldwide partners, award winners, as they've been key to building up not only the ServiceNow platform, but building on it. Like, not just the reputation that we have, but our range of activities and products that we can offer our customers just keeps growing with the great work of partners like For Industry. With that, I'd like to pass it on and just like to thank again the great partnership that we have.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ozgur. I'm from Danone Amsterdam office, and my role within Danone is Global Digital Manufacturing Manager. I am looking after SN factories, but also except those factories, I am responsible for industry and few more other solutions globally for all factories. And I want to talk about a bit today where For Industry sits in Danone. Why is it so critical for us? And what is our roadmap and what are our plans with For Industry in Danone? And for that, I first want to introduce a bit about our Digital Manufacturing Acceleration Program, which will help you to understand how we drive productivity in Danone and why For Industry is so important for us. Can we go to the next slide? So Digital Manufacturing Acceleration Program is a 3-year-old program in Danone, started in European factories. Our purpose with this program is going through having a digital transformation programs in factories and identifying their pain points and defining some catalog solutions for those factories. And what I mean by catalog solutions, first we have a pilot phase of each solution we identified in the market, and we define the value for Danone for those solutions. So we include those solutions in the catalog. So for industries, one of the catalog solutions, and what we aim by that, we want to bring efficiency, flexibility, and resilience to factories. And for now, with this program, we already have 32 factories in Europe and launching in NORAM, Latin America, Africa, and Asia this year. And this number is not super updated. With the new factories, we will have, I'm sure, much more, but we have in the pipeline over 100 million euros of productivity. When I say productivity, what does that mean? It's our controllable cost in the sites. So any money that is granted to factories through our team, through the DMA program, they simply need to commit to a saving. So we make the money available for them, but they need to show that this solution in this situation for industry is delivering the productivity they promised in the beginning. So as a result of this program, we also have few good external recognitions. One of them is Digital Lighthouse by World Economic Forum. We had as a first baby food plant in the world, and for one of the four factories in the worldwide having food and beverage industry. The Opole factory is one of the leading digital factories in Danone and successfully deployed this transformation program in their site. Can we go to the next slide, please? Here I want to little bit mention about what type of methodology we have in DMA and how we can still carry on successfully this program and get sponsorships from when I say sponsorships, getting the support from the leadership in Danone, because simply whatever we ask for, we return. It's a profitable investment simply within Danone. And we drive impact and factory-centric program, and we have methodology having regular meetings with sites. As I mentioned, like I'm looking after a sense, I have my factories and regular basis. I track the operational issues of each factory for each solution, and we try to tackle and centrally support their problems. And we also bring some routines and further support within the DMA team that I will explain shortly, and some tools. And one of them is digital compass that I will show in the following slide. And what we have is, as a central DMA team, how we support them. We have three streams. One of them is the yellow stream, simply looking after the resource perspective and skill perspective. If those factories are ready to start a digital transformation, if they are not ready, we are providing trainings, and during the transition, we help them for the change management and so on, and make sure the solution they want to deploy is adopted by the end users. And we also have blue stream. In the blue stream, we simply the stream that I'm also part of, identifying their future use cases and if they are meeting up their financial targets and productivity, and making sure if there are any issues that they get the support that they need. You can think it also a little bit like a bridge between the vendors and the factories. And the tech stream is providing them needed infrastructure and IT OT perspective, and any support is also contributing to successful deployments of the solution. This transformation program is a 16 weeks program, starting with boot camp. It was actually 2, but now we decided to have 1. And some tools and supports included for each stream is carried on and rolled out. And with the regular touch points with the sites, we carry on our works together and making sure we are covering every aspect of a deployment process. Can we go to the next slide? So when I mention the tool, this is the tool, our main tool. We call it Digital Compass. Maybe some of you are familiar. This is a methodology of McKinsey. This program actually developed 2020 together with McKinsey. But of course, we made it a bit more Danone based on our needs and expectations from the program. And where we see for industry within this tool, within the compass, is our levers. You will see labor, asset utilization, safety, time to market, resource quality, and so on. And within the labor, simply we have our pain points where we detect pain points in factories. And within that, we have use cases that you can see: flow automation, digital PDS / connected worker, data analytics. Could be anything can bring productivity, can tackle any of the issues. A little bit more specific, what do we attack within labor? Waiting time and complex processes. We aim to simplify processes for operators and reduce the waiting time. If we can automate, if we can go for paperless. And in this one, the connected worker as for industry is one of the critical solutions that we propose to our factories. So I want to a little bit mention what is our roadmap within Danone, where is for industry and where is it coming to, and also why it is important for us, what type of benefits we see. So in the ideation, we have 3 factories in NORAM right now and Mexico. As soon as their CapEx is accepted by the team, then it will go through the deployment phase. And the deployment phase, you can see some European factories and 3 North American factories already there. They started deployment and the rollout. Right now, we have 3 factories using solution. Hubs is the first factory in the Netherlands start using the tool, and the Zoetermeer is the second one also in the Netherlands, 2 Ascent factories. And Badois in France this year started the Waters factory, and they carry on with their developments, and soon they will go live on the shop floor. And why for industry is a good solution for us, why it is meeting with our expectations. First thing is one point of digital contact. So this is the main purpose of connected worker use case, not having multiple applications for an operator, not making them remembering so many credentials or going one application to another platform to just fill out some forms, make some checks and stuff. We prefer to have one application, having them on the tablets, so they can go through with their tablets all day process and the machine, whatever they need to do. If they need to CAL center line, they can just go through the checklist, they can take pictures, they can report deviations, and they can complete their jobs on one single platform. That's the most important thing that we consider when we are deploying in a site. If there is any integration is needed, we try to provide it in a central level. And the second one is flexibility. So for industry is flexible enough to satisfy local needs. As you can imagine, we have different type of factories. When I say we have different categories, one special nutrition, the other one is yogurt, the other one is bottling water. So they have different procedures to follow every day. So for industry in this situation with assessments, for example, helping them to create their own assessments, and they can still use platform in one single Danone environment, but they can make their own dashboards, own assessments, own list of jobs, and so on. So that's why it's quite important. But at the same time, we can standardize some processes. So for example, deviation management. So any defect form, if we want to have it in Danone in a certain way, we can also standardize that way of collecting defects and solving defects and communicating, writing tasks, who's going to do it, who will be in charge, who do what. So simply it can follow whatever Danone standard is saying to them to do. That was the biggest problem in Danone. Still is actually in many places, not having standard procedures. But here I also mentioned IWS. If you're aware of that, this is P&G's way of producing manufacturing methodology. Danone this year started with AWS deployment, so standardization will be even more important for Danone, having standard processes, standard forms for not, of course, it's not possible for every work process, but for majority on the shop floor, what is going on, it should comply with AWS. In this sense, for industry will be a very big partner for us to be able to make AWS digital on the shop floor. And we already started creating our dashboards and assessment and making sure any factory is getting for industry and at the same time starting with AWS, they can start digital AWS by using for industry. And the final reason I want to list here why for industry is important for us, product development. So we have a chance to explain what do we need in the product. So when the product is being developed, those needs are being considered. This is really important for us. So I can imagine it's a little bit hard, even when you have few factories, we sometimes have very different needs from each factory. But ultimately, we can agree on, if we can agree on what we need on the product, so we can interpret it to look to product team, product development team, and we can expect, and we see some of them already, we saw those features, those modules are coming up to for industry. So when we also explain to our factories, if new factories are coming up, for example, quality window of tests right now, we don't have it, but we know it will be included in the product development roadmap, and it will come soon. Sooner or later, the factories can start using it. So they may not need it right now, but they know they will need it soon. So this is quite important in our partnership with for industry. And the next slide, I want to show you a little bit about the standard processes, what type of approach we had. So simply we said, okay, any factory is buying for industry, let's not ask them to develop everything from the scratch. As we talk about standardization of some processes, let's be already standard and call them global templates. And we already started the basic processes that you can see. We already have them ready. Any factory right now, but from the non-buying for industry, we tell them, if you want to start with those processes, you can just plug and play, start using those dashboards, those action plan management, and so on. So those are ready. This is the biggest impact during the deployment process, that it can reduce the deployment time drastically. You can imagine someone is just getting the tools, starting development, rather than asking them to start developing, that you can even quickly ask them to start even using it. So we value that quite a lot. And the next two pillars that we have in mind, shop floor advanced and continuous improvement. But as we are having for AWS right now, those procedures will be developed according to AWS. So it will also accelerate the deployment of AWS, not only deployment of for industry. So I can say in a nutshell, right now, it's being used in 3 factories and we have very positive feedbacks. In fact, right now I am in a factory in Spain, in Aldaya. I just, we together planned our deployment plan and had some demos with the plan team. And it was really appreciated a lot what they saw, what they can achieve. When they see the potential, it creates big motivation, not only in terms of digital, but in general manufacturing excellence. And we hope as Danoneers having this partnership even growing more and driving more productivity together. This is all what I want to present to you. I heard there's some questions. Maybe if it's the right time, I can answer the questions. Otherwise, we can do it like, yeah, it's the time.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Thank you so much, Ozgur. I'm just going to read these questions out loud because I'm not sure if they are visible on the chat for everyone. So the first question is regarding security concerns. So how did Danone manage concerns about data security?
Yeah, so the security of these solutions in general, not only for industry, I can tell any solution is becoming a catalog solution, they need to pass the security test of global IT team. So Danone's got procedures in place. So they are being tested, they are being assessed according to those standards. As soon as they passed those assessments, so it becomes the catalog. So any solution is not passing those tests are not being cataloged anyways. I cannot unfortunately give you details about those assessments and tests, but I can tell this is the procedure that we have in place.
Thank you. Thank you. The second question is on tangible results. What are some of the tangible results that you can share with us that you have seen after implementing their connected worker platform in your factories?
Yeah, exactly. So as I mentioned, the DMA program is a productivity-driven program. It's not, no one's giving money for free. Okay, if you want to be digital, let's be digital. Here's your money. So they have to create business cases. They have to prove their case that it's a need in the site, aligning with their site's transformation vision in their digital vision. And then they need to show what can I achieve by using this solution. Could be for industry or could be something else. We usually look at for industry situation, if it's making operators any time save, if they're saving any time by using for industry, if it's contributing the machine stops, not of course contributing, but reducing the machine stops. So we look at OE improvement by using some certain modules. So what I can say for now, for industry, we expect this year 1.3 million of productivity coming only from for industry, included 10, 15 sites. So we definitely closely measure it, and any case cannot prove themselves as it will bring a productivity is already not being accepted. But for industry, as offering so many use cases and modules, it's actually quite easy to prove that benefit.
Thank you. It's always about that business case, right? I wonder if someday people will start giving money away for free, but until that is the case, we will need to prove that ROI.
Well, I can tell one thing. We also benchmark with other companies as well. Those are having digital transformation programs. We saw some examples that they are simply kind of granting money. They are not really asking productivity or any return, financial return of those programs. But what you see eventually, one top is leaving companies, some other is coming, and if they have a little bit different vision in terms of digital, this program is not being supported anymore because simply it's not driving any financials. So we value this part quite a lot and strictly follow all those impacts together with sites.
Excellent. I think we have one more question, and that would be on the benefits of implementing a platform, really like for industry, as opposed to the multiple point solutions or multiple tools that many companies are still using today. I don't know if this one is probably more appropriate for industry, or you want to give your take on that.
I can do it. I can do it. Hi, everybody. My name is Laurens, responsible for industry from a commercial perspective. What we see, and obviously we discussed it up front with Ozgur together, but as an example, one of the big value drivers besides productivity is also application rationalization. So what you see is in a few Danone sites alone, we are reducing the amount of applications from on average to 25, 28 to less than 15. So that means basically that we are reducing, what I would say, nearly 40% of applications used by an operator in order to perform his daily job. So that alone can happen if you use a platform like ServiceNow / for industry in order to land it on one platform.
Okay, well, thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, Ozgur and Adam, for sharing your experience with us today. and your knowledge. And as promised, I'm going to leave a link on the chat here. I hope it will be visible for all of you. Apologies for the formatting, but this is one of the most popular assets for industry, and is their link to their blueprint for optimizing OEE. So I hope it's accessible for you. And if you have any issues after this meeting, we will share it with you over email, and of course, a copy of the recording. Again, thank you everyone for joining us today, and we'll speak to you very soon.